To fill in her brows, I'm just using this brown eyebrow pencil I got from the beauty supply. So I'm just going to start from the end and basically build into the front of her eyebrows. And I'm just going to fill in the ends the most and like lightly transition into the front of her eyebrows. Like I'm just using the spoolie to also like blend it in as well. And I just try to be really careful with the front of her brows. In general, I don't like to have boxy brows, so like whatever I do, I make sure to blend in with the spoolie. So to conceal her brows, I'm just going to go in with this MAC concealer palette, and I'm just going to carefully line the bottom of her brows with concealer to clean it up. I'm gonna go into her whole eyelid with the concealer and just blend that out as well. And now I'm just using a beauty blender to blend in the concealer on her eyelid. And now I'm just going in with powder to set the concealer on her eyelids. So for her eyeshadow, I'm just going to go in with this orange shadow on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Then I'm going to go in with a brown shadow on the palette as well. If you struggle with eyeshadow, I would say to consider placement. So just notice that I did go into, like, I went above her crease with the orange, and now I'm going like more precisely into her crease with the brown. I did use a smaller brush, so that helps with smaller areas. Now to cut her crease, I'm using this MAC Paintpot, and you could use a concealer to do this, like a really light concealer, but I prefer this because it's much thicker and it's dry. Once you put it on, like, you can put eyeshadow over it. With concealer, it'll be more sticky on the surface. So I'm just using this flat definer brush to put it on. I recommend like moving slowly with it. You could try to like go in one swipe, but it's easy to mess up. So as you can see, I'm like patting it in. Yeah. Now I'm using another color on the Modern Renaissance palette, which I'm going to list on the screen. And I'm just going to pat it in where I put the Paintpot primer. And just to intensify the cut crease, I'm going in with this small brush just to clean up the ends of the eyeshadow with the darker brown, and now I'm going in just to blend it in. And now I'm just applying some liner before I put on her lashes. Now I'm adding a brow highlight to intensify the look, and I'm just using a gold on the Modern Renaissance palette as well. To apply lashes, like if you're new to it, I would say try to use tweezers. For me, I try to use my hands, just quicker. So it doesn't show much in the video, but she did have a bit of redness in her face, which I would have normally used a green color corrector, but because I didn't have one, I'm just using a really light one. But I'm going to blend everything in. Now I'm just going in with the red color corrector to cover her dark spots. So I used the white for her red spots, and I'm using the red for her dark spots. And as promised, I'm just blending everything out before I put on her foundation. So when applying foundation, I personally like to put the foundation on before I blend it out instead of like putting it and blending it in the process. I don't know, it's just a preference of mine. But also, I like to clean up the top of her brows with foundation instead of concealer. So I like to do that before I blend out the foundation completely. It doesn't matter how you apply the foundation, to be honest, as long as you blend it out. In terms of choice of color and foundation, I just decided to go with a lighter foundation to match her body. As you can see, her upper body is much lighter than her face, so I went in with the foundation that was a bit lighter than her face. So now I'm going in with the concealer. This concealer is not too much lighter than the foundation, just because I don't want to get too bright with her makeup look. So I'm just going in with the concealer under her eyes and the regular highlight spots. So that's under eyes, over the lip, cupid's bow area, chin, nose, and center of the forehead. So to conceal, I'm mainly using this matte concealer palette. I'm using the dark shade on here as well to contour her face. So I'm just going in like her cheekbones, around her forehead, her nose, and just against her chin. Now that I'm done concealing, I'm just going to go in and blend everything out. So I'm going to start with everywhere that I contoured, and I like to use the bottom of my beauty blender to do this. And then I'm going to go in with the top of the beauty blender and blend out all the spots that I highlighted. Now to set her highlight, I'm going in with the Sacha Buttercup powder. I'm going to press in the powder rather than to just leave it and let it bake. I'm pressing it in. I'm also going to dust it off, but this powder is pretty yellow, so I'm going to have to dust it off and probably go over it with a pressed powder that is her skin tone. So I'm just doing that on both ends. Sorry, not on both ends. I'm doing that everywhere that I highlighted. So under her eyes, over her mouth, her chin, her nose, the center of her forehead, and also at the sides of her face to cut the contour lines. As you can see, I used the brush to kind of like brush under her contour lines instead of to pat it in with the Beauty Blender, just so it's less of a harsh application. And now I'm just setting all the spots that I contoured. I'm going in with the powder on the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. So I'm just going in with the powder and setting every spot that I contoured. And now I'm just going to dust off the powder as promised. I'm dusting off the Sacha Buttercup powder, and I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'm using a shade that is closer to her skin tone to like cancel out as much of the yellow as I can. So I did spray her face to have everything set in, which I didn't get on camera, but now I'm just going in under her eyes with the Laura Mercier powder to brighten up her highlight a bit. And now I'm just dusting away the powder. To add some warmth to her face, I'm just using a blush on the, I think it's the Becca palette. I'll also list the blush color in the video. Now I'm just going to use Champagne Pop to highlight. So I'm going to highlight the bridge of her nose, her cupid's bow, and her cheekbones, of course. I like to do this with my finger. You could use a small brush. It's much more cleaner and easier that way. I don't know, I'm just more comfortable with my fingers. So I'm going to line her lips with this brown on this NYX Lip palette. I'm just using the darkest brown on the palette. You could use a pencil to line, but I'm using this. I'm just going to go in and do this with the lip brush. And now I'm just going to apply this pink NYX Lip Crea. I'm going to also blend out the brown that I used to line with the lip brush as well. To finish off the look, I'm just going to do a few more things. So I'm just applying some white liner on her waterline. Then I'm going to apply some of this orange eyeshadow under her eyes. And I'm going to apply mascara to her bottom lashes as well. Now I'm just going to intensify her highlight by applying some highlight to this blending brush and just applying it on the center of her highlight.